topic in your LMS. Okay, so we are going to discuss the competitive advantage. Okay, so the competitive advantage, this is also a part of the strategic management and even TQM, because in the TQM, if there is a good quality, and that will be the competitive advantage of the company in delivering services or products to the customers. But as a strategic management, we have also we need to know our competitive advantage. The competitive advantage, this is the competency that makes the organization or the business be distinctive from among the competition. Okay, that's why if the business has a unique and different, and this difference can be an edge for the company to be on top, okay, or to be more to be on top, and to be a great there is a top from among the competition, then that will be a competitive advantage. Okay, so what is the competitive advantage? So in the competitive advantage, this is more focused in creating more economic value rather than the competition, because we all know there is a competitions in the business, especially in our economy. We are in the capitalism system where the factors of production are owned by the private sectors. And these private sectors, they are also the are the producers who used to produce commodities or the outputs that will create a demand for the consumption of the customers. If we talk about economic value, so we all know that producers or the businesses, they are producing similar commodities. But the competition, it talks about what makes it different from among them. Just like this, in the Philippines, as an example, competitive advantage. In the Philippines, we all know that we have fast food chains. And in the major competition, we have 3 fast food chains. And we have also minor competition and fast food chains. Okay, so if in the major competition, we all know that there is a 3, that they are offered hamburger, they are offered fried chicken, they are offered drinks. But don't you know, you can say that they offer the same product, but what makes it the different? Of course, the difference is the taste, the design, the feature, the ingredients, the customer service, which people they serve their customers. So that those things are part of the economic value. And this economic value in the competitive advantage, yes, we are competing with the competition, but we are not focusing on our competitors. But we are focusing on ourselves, in which we analyze our resources that will create economic value. Okay, so you are focusing on what the things that you have, that you can serve your customers better, instead of looking at the right, at the left of your competition. Of course, you're still in the competition, but you are focusing yourself what makes you different from among them, and how will you create economic value to your customers, not only for satisfaction, but also creating jobs to the people. Okay, and there are 2 strategies to attain this competitive advantage. So the 2 strategies of the competitive advantage are the cost advantage and differentiation. Okay, so what is the cost advantage? Okay, so the cost advantage, this is the firm, okay, that takes advantage in giving lower prices than competitors through the substitutable products or services. But we should be careful on the cost advantage, because the other side of the cost advantage is dumping. I say dumping rather, that you're offering lower prices for the competition, even you lose income. The cost advantage is to give not just a lower prices, but prices that can be affordable by the customers. You are making your prices on a discount or a freebie, to serve the customers better or to create a demand to your customers better than thinking about the competition. But the commodities that you are giving lower prices or discounts on the product that can be substitutable or alternative. Example, okay, example, or we are in the summer, a spring, okay. We all know that beverages are very demanding beverages because it's summer, so we need to refresh or to be cool. So we all know that in the major competition of the let's say beverages are the soft drinks, the bottling companies. So these bottling companies, the cost advantage there is they create a substitute for a soft drink, which is a juice or a sweetened beverages, let's say iced tea or orange juice in a bottle. And that is a substitute for soft drinks. That you will set the prices there as the lower or affordable to customers in case that they can't afford the major product. So in case that your major product is it creates an average demand, then to your alternatives or substitutes, you will create a high demand on it. For we all know that the customers are very sensitive on the prices, but which they can use an alternative in order to satisfy what they need. Okay, the substitute for the soft drinks are juice. Okay, are juice. Another example, in a fast food chain. So what is the alternative for hamburger? We all know the alternative for hamburger is fried chicken. Okay, so well, of course, Filipinos, okay, the major product of the fast food chain are hamburgers, and the alternative is the fried chicken. Why? Because especially in the Philippines, okay, in the Philippines, Filipinos are eating rice than sandwiches. Because most of the time, in the Western countries, hamburger is a food for lunch, not a snack. But in the Philippine culture, hamburgers are to be eaten during snack time, not on the lunch. Because in lunchtime, we eat a rice with a bayan or in ulam in Filipino language. That's why in the fast food chain, in order, we all know that hamburger is cannot sold at lunchtime, although there are people who eat hamburger during lunchtime, but the demand for the hamburger during lunchtime is not adequate. And most of the people are eating on the lunchtime are rice and bayan. And the fast food chain that they offer is fried chicken and rice. It's only in the Philippines, my dear students, because fried chicken is also a Western part that the partner fried chicken on the Western countries are mashed potato, or you can eat the fried chicken by itself. But here in our country, we eat fried chicken served with the rice. That's why there is a fried chicken rice meal. That's why the fast food chain, they reach the culture, or they reach the, what do you call this? The Philippine culture. That's why they serve fried chicken and rice as alternative to the hamburger. And that is the cost advantage. And the one-piece chicken and rice is also, I'm not saying that these are lower prices, unaffordable prices. Yes, they give a discount or lower price on the chicken, and we all know that chicken is a high price today. Anyway, but that will be a cost advantage because a fried chicken is a substitute for a hamburger. That's why fast food chain during lunchtime, fried chicken is the most ordered and demand by the customer in lunchtime, because I myself, I'm just comparing when I eat on the fast food chain at lunchtime, most of the orders that I see on the customers are fried chicken and rice, regardless of what, for whoever on what fast food chain there is, because they are different when it comes to the taste of fried chicken. Okay, and the other competitive advantage is the differentiation strategy. So the differentiation strategy, this strategy is it makes what makes what makes the organization or the business different from the competition. So from this distinctive competency or to become distinctive, that makes the business establish a reputation. Okay, but on differentiation strategy, when it comes to the major product, it is very difficult to substitute, to make substitute or to make a change or alter on the product, especially if the product is as an expensive price. That's why what we're going to do is to make this product different from among it. Okay, an example of differentiation strategy, let's go on the mobile phones or smartphones. We all know that in the competition of smartphones, there are a lot of brands and there are a lot of manufacturing companies. But we have only one, and this is the strategy, the competitive advantage of an Apple. Okay, Apple, the iPhone. Okay, so the Apple used the differentiation strategy because their smartphones, the OS exclusively for them, while the other competition of cell phones like Samsung, Huawei, they are Android phones, and they are only another OS is both Android, but there is a distinctive on what particular Android OS that they are used. Okay, and that is also these two Android phones are also use differentiation strategy that they try to establish a reputation, especially Samsung, because from among the Android phones, okay, Samsung is more demand and accepted by the customers, and that's why Samsung is what we call this. Samsung, it creates a competition to the Apple. I'm not saying that Huawei and other brands of cell phones or Android phones cannot compete with Apple, but if you analyze the demand of those Android phones, Samsung also has the most demand of Android phones that can be compete with Apple. But from among them, Apple is very different from among them because of their OS. Okay, which is the Apple is the iOS. Okay, and this is the competitive advantage of Apple from those Android phones. Okay, that's why these two are also strategies in the competitive advantage. That's why we have the following steps on how to construct a competition or competitor array. So this is what the organization do in order to make their competitive advantage. First, the company must define their industry. What particular industry that they're going to enter? What is the scope and nature of the industry? Example, in the cell phones, or if you are the owner of the Apple, so your industry is technology in gadgets. What are the scope and nature of the industry? What are the demands of the market on the smartphones that you have also to position your product? Determine who your competitors are. You should know or identify your competitions. In Apple, they have, the competitor is Samsung, okay, and other brands. Determine your customers are and what benefits they expect. So you should, and through this, you should make a market segmentation in order to identify your target market and what are the benefits they expect. What are the needs on the smartphone that you should position your product and which you can give benefits on their expectation, and then determine the key strengths. Of course, the strengths of the company or the business are the price, services, the convenience, and even inventory. Determine which competitive advantage best for the company. So you should identify which the competitive advantage best for the company, and you can choose between those strategies. Are you going to use the cost advantage by having a substitute to give lower prices, or for not risking your major product, or you are going to use the differentiation strategy that which your major product can be create a reputation or sophisticated that makes different from among the competition, and learn from the big companies chosen competitive advantage. What it means here that of course people business are also inspired sometimes in their competition. or they are inspired for something. So for whatever the success of those big companies, okay, you are not going to get their competitive advantage just to copy it or to imitate it, but you can use it as your inspiration or as the business inspiration in order to make them different from those competitive advantage. Okay, so that is the topic for the strategic management, and that is the competitive advantage.